few space of time. And I want to assure you that I think my network is breaking. Okay. I want to assure you that you're in the right place. You're going to be handled by seasoned practitioners that are going to be holding your hand through the process, and you are going to have a swell time. We need to just open our minds for mind shift, and we will see the phenomenal result in our practice. Whether you are practicing already or not, whether you are just trying to start practice, you will always find what you can do. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Wow. Thank you, Adeniola. Thank you. That was, it's not just, that's when I say in the network, in the academy, it's not just about words, it's the experience. It's the experience you will be getting from joining, from being part of the amazing thing that is happening here. Like I did said, I experienced, and she is also telling you that she experienced. Same. And about experience, tonight, in a few minutes, our facilitator for tonight will be sharing insights on how to become a master of family life practice and how to overcome the challenges you might be facing right now. We'll also have some time for Q&A at the end, so get your questions ready. And about this facilitator, I want to introduce you to the architect of happiness, the one and only queen of happiness, Dimma Nwobi, the director of studies at the Institute of Family Engineering and Development. I want to see virtual applause in the comments because Dimma is a powerhouse of knowledge and practical strategies. And she's here to equip you with the tools to make your family life practice soar to imaginable heights. Let's give Dimma a warm, soar welcome in the chat box. The stage is yours, queen of happiness.
Thank you, Blessing. That was I was blushing. I'm like, is it my own queen of happiness that she is calling? But now, there's only one authentic queen of happiness. Every other one, they will come and defend what they are about. So thank you, everyone. It's my pleasure to be here. And congratulations. That's what I'm going to start with. Congratulations for having you here. Because by being here, it shows that you are really desirous of taking your family life practice to another level. For being here, it means that there's some curiosity you have as to more viable tools. Of course, many of us here may have been active in the family life space, but you're here because you want to, okay, what else can I add? Or perhaps you are in the field and you have not been getting the kind of clients that you want to get, or you have not been making the kind of money that you think you can make, or you're hearing people say, hey, I'm cashing out here. You're wondering, is my practice different? So that's what we'll be talking about today. And I am excited to be the one leading us in this conversation. So let's get talking. Thank you, everyone, for welcoming me. And as we go along, as I ask questions, please also participate so that we can have a deeply engaging time. So today, the conversation is on the new rules of family life practice, and that is what I will be sharing with you today. So when we talk about the new rules of family life practice, what is it about? And what is that family systems engineering approach to it? That's our topic of discussion for the 2 days that we're going to be spending together. And it's our hope that at the end of this engagement, you would have, first of all, discovered the opportunities that exist in the family life space. You would also identify 7 core reasons why family life practitioners struggle. Again, you will be able to identify the beliefs that are sabotaging you. And there are 6 core beliefs that we will be guiding you to uninstall within the time that we're spending together. And of course, 5 of the 10 new rules. So over the years of practicing and building this robust approach to family life, which is the family systems engineering approach, we've identified in 10 rules for family life practice that can transform your practice. It doesn't matter where your practice is. If you're a startup, if you have started, if you want to scale up your business, 5 of those 10 rules, we will be sharing it with you in this series. And of course, we will be sharing with you what we can beat our chest to say the best templates to accelerating your success rate, not just in Nigeria, not just in Africa, but across the globe. All right, so I just want us to get settled in. I'm sure you've heard the testimonial from the lady who testified. Thank you for that testimony. So don't let anything distract you. I mean, if you've been doing family life in one way, and today you are here curiously to find which other way can I do it, then you don't want anybody to distract you, not even your spouse, not even your children. Just tell them, give me this time and find a quiet place. Keep your devices on mute so that we can engage together. So I am worthy of whatever I desire to earn from the incredible value I add to humanity. I deserve much more than I charge because I save lives every day, much more than the world can imagine. My clients attain clarity and achieve their desired results while I also achieve my financial goals. I am a family life coach and I keep the world happy. And I'm sure when I was introduced, you also got to hear that I go by the title, the Queen of Happiness and Human Flourishing. So I am devoted to keeping our families and the world happy. But for you as a family life practitioner, whatever stage you are in your practice, do you embody this affirmation that I just shared with you? Or are you somebody like, oh, why should I earn from this? It's a gift. God has given me a gift to help humanity. So why should I charge? That's what people ask. But then the doctor in the hospital was also given a gift by God. But you go there and you pay your bills. The barrister that helps you to put your papers together, solicit for you when you have a court case, they are also doing the service of God. So if you listen to me, read this affirmation, but there is some part of it that you did somehow on your brain, it didn't just make sense, then you're in the right place. Because the gifts of a man maketh way for him. And so even when you are being called to family life practice, it is also a practice as much as it's a service where you can earn from. And I must tell you that we have track record of practitioners who are earning from this practice, helping their clients meet their goals and also meeting their financial goals. And we will be sharing the template and the way through even as we progress in our conversation. So let me tell you a bit about my story in family life practice. So I've always been somebody who was interested in family life. Maybe then as a young girl of 13, 14, I may not have consciously known that family was a value for me. But I know that by reason of a conversation I had with a family friend of mine when I was in JS3 going to SS3, and this random family friend, not even a relative, I say random family friend, visited our home one day and he was asking me, so what do you want? What combination of subjects will you do in SS? And I said, I'm going to go to the arts and humanities. And he said, okay, what career path are you looking at? And I said, I wanted to be a lawyer. And he just the expression on his face got me curious. And he said, you want to be a lawyer? Female lawyers don't stay in marriages. And I'm like, remember, I was in JS3. And I'm like, really? And he said, yes, because they spend their whole time arguing with their husbands, so they don't do well in marriage. And I can tell you, based on that conversation, it first of all threw me into a career path crisis, because all through till then, I'd always believed I was going to read law. But with that information, I decided to change path to engineering, because I didn't like blood, so I didn't want to do medicine. But that's later I came to realize, so family has been important to me even as that young child. Fast forward to after university, I just knew that I wasn't going to practice engineering. And I said, you know what, I want to go into people development. And then I went into career in banking. Whilst I was working in the bank, I had already gotten married before getting into banking anyways. And my husband and I, we got married in 2003. And at 2009, first of all, in 2005, 2 years into our marriage, we stumbled on a book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective Families, and that revolutionized our marriage. And so we started to create our family vision and living it and teaching people. But something happened in 2009 when we decided to start a marriage coaching facility, and I was still working and doing that. Fast forward to when I started to feel uneasy being in banking, I decided, you know what, I needed to craft my career path. And so whilst I was in banking, I started to take trainings. And one day I was in a training, and then the young man who was facilitating the training looked at me and said, you look like Praise Fowowe's wife. And I'm like, okay. Meanwhile, I've been listening to Praise's tape ministry, his tapes and all of that. And then that was how I met Praise Fowowe live and flesh and blood. Anyway, so we started, and I let him know, oh, I like the work you're doing. I would like to learn under you. And I took the FSC training February 2016, and I resigned from banking June 2016. The 30th of June 2016, and the very next week, I resumed at Center for Sex Education and Family Life as an intern. So that's my story of family life. As I go along, I will be making pointers to this, my story, to also let you know the things that have helped me grow in this field, the things that have helped me increase my monetizing abilities, and more importantly, the things that have helped me master the approach and become one of the voices in family life practice, as it were, today in Nigeria. So that's my journey. I don't know what your journey is and where you are at. And like I said, by the time I worked with the Institute, Center for Family Life, Center for Sex and Family Life, we founded the Institute of Family Engineering and Development. And over the years from 2016 till date, we have trained over 1,000 people using the family systems engineering approach, not only in Nigeria, across Africa, in Europe, Asia, and everywhere globally. And in 2000, and I can't remember, pre-COVID, PF was at the Family Life Coaching Association conference in the USA, and he presented some papers using some of the data that we had collated from the people who have used this approach. And that was where it was said that the family systems engineering course was a multidisciplinary course. Not only does it help you to create strategy, it also has an infusion of therapy, it has an infusion of consulting, it has an infusion of counseling, and we will talk more about that. But I want to pick your brain, and I want you to just take a deep breath in, and as you inhale, I invite you to gently exhale, because I am just wanting you to activate your Zen mode. And as you do that, you take that deep breath in and you exhale gently. I invite you to look at this. When it comes to family life practice in Africa, what separates us from the rest of the world isn't just competence issue. It is also often laced with esteem issues and lack of belief in our solutions. You know, there was a time, there was a craze in Nigeria for people taking, foreign certification. I want to be US certified. I want to be UK certified. And I have nothing against certifications globally, because I also have a couple of international certifications. But one thing I realized was that some people, not only because they wanted to broaden their knowledge, but they felt that they were inferior, or that the tools we had for originating from Africa were inferior. And so they wanted the Western tools. And I have facilitated twice as a facilitator in the International Family Life Coaching Association conferences, 2 times, 2021, 2022, and I have been in many international conferences, and I can tell you that what we have as Africans is unique and working. And we do not need to see ourselves as inferior to the Western world. In fact, it is important now, like we are doing in the Institute and a couple of people are doing right now in Africa, to generate data, to put out research that studies our peculiar African situations and make cases on it. Not that we're just taking what has been a sample space of people who do not have our kind of culture, people who do not have our kind of tradition, people who do not live in our kind of environment, and extrapolate it. Because I can tell you that the content coming out from Africa is great. So you want to ask yourself, what exactly has been shortchanging your family life practice? Have you not launched out because you feel, I'm not good enough? What we have here is not good enough. I remember in 2017 or 2018, a couple who were lecturers in Babcock University, and then they were like, oh, we wanted to do something family life. They searched internationally for courses to take, but then one of their students who had taken the Family Systems Engineering certification course told them about this course and said, come and try this out. And when they came, they realized that the curriculum for Family Systems Engineering was even more robust and tailored towards Africans and Nigerians, much more than the one they wanted to pay so much more for internationally, that they had to take this and export it to America, and even got the institute under the leadership of Praise for Owe to create a curriculum for their students that every 100-level students in Babcock had to go through that course to get integrated and prepare for life. So my take is that what we have here works, but you need, first of all, to identify what are those sabotaging beliefs that you have about yourself, about your origin as African, and even the lack of belief in the solutions that are local that can even go global. So when you think again of family life practice, many people just think that the way to practice this is just to stay on social media and to talk. Yes, that will give you mileage. That will give you mileage. That will give you a space. But then people also are like, I'm not getting clients. I've been posting and posting, but nobody is contacting me. I'm not getting clients. There's a long value chain for family life practice that you can get into these areas and not just be fixated with one-on-one. And even as you grow in the practice, you realize that one-on-one is draining. If that is all you offer, you will get burnt out and you may not even last in the field. So aside from personal coaching, you can also explore group coaching. You can also explore creating solutions for organizations so that they have assisted employee family assisted programs. That is a cash cow that many people are not looking into. Even with report preparation, in family systems engineering, we have a way of giving out assessments that the clients will take, and then again, you create a report for them that is customized. Some people who have taken the training are just dedicated to writing these reports and getting paid for each report they write. They don't have to sit with the client, but their own is just generating the report, and the front client-facing person just takes the report and debriefs it, and they get their pay. You can do deals with government as you are able to create solutions. What of consulting? What of creating intellectual property? Not everyone is gifted with the idea of breaking complex issues to simple solutions, but that could be your own take in family life. You could go into partnerships, you could work as NGO, you could do matchmaking. In fact, with the things that is happening among the young people, there is need for structured, comprehensive matchmaking outfits in Nigeria, because now people are living too busy lives. Socializing is on the reduction, but they need a platform that can help them, not just the one that will pair them to hippies or boys who want to just eat money, but really a robust one that is a cash cow that has yet not been tapped in the Nigerian market. So as you're listening to me, what is coming up for you? Now let's look at this picture. Very important. When you look at this, what do you see? And I need you to be honest, because honesty is just one virtue that would help you in this practice. What do you see, and how does this make you feel? Quickly, please come to the chat room and give me responses. I want to see some people being sincere. When you looked at this, did your heart do bing, 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 bing? Or what happened? What are you saying? We have over 130 people here. Okay, Ekundayo, thank you for taking the lead. Ekundayo says, I see a street girl negotiating, fantastic. I see porn. Tolulope says, I see PT, prostitution, great. Thank you for sharing all of that, because these are the things we are going to be solving in society. So I see desperation, sadness. Thank you so much, everyone. Okay, again, does that change? Remember this image. What do you see? What does it make you feel? Do you have a different perception about this, or are they everything? Louisa says it is indecent dressing. Someone says trauma-based behavior, indecency, prostitution, families under threat. Okay, all right. What about this? What do you see when you see this? There's a picture to the, if you're mirroring me, to the left, there are two human beings there, and to my right, there are a couple of people there. What are you seeing? Okay, Catherine sees a wife feeling free now. Oh, we've moved on. Somebody say, I see a wife talking to her husband rushing out. Okay. I see an index, LGBT, poverty. All right. Homosexuality. Okay. What do you see when you look at this? I like the responses we're getting. We are communicating. And somebody says people in need of direction. Ekudayo in the formal picture saw somebody that is homeless. What are we seeing here? Somebody sees religion. Okay. All right. So let's get to business. So thank you, everyone. Someone not clear. Okay, fantastic. So thank you, everyone. Let's go back. Thinking of those pictures, I just grouped them together. How did you arrive at your conclusions? What made you look at that first picture and see indecent dressing, and see somebody missing away, and see porn, and see pornography? Somebody sees trauma-based behavior. Somebody sees somebody rushing home to her. How did you arrive at those conclusions? Okay, somebody says precedence. Fantastic. All right, because the moment your interpretation becomes subjective and you are caught in the bog of stereotyping, your ability to build a profitable business becomes hampered, because you no longer see human beings. You see labels. You lose customers and excuse yourself from what they can pay. So that means that in building a profitable and viable, and when I say profitable, it is not reduced only to money making. Profitable also includes meeting the goals of your business, having a business that serves a purpose. So when you hear me say profitable, please do not limit it only to the economic gains. It's also the social gains. It's also the sense of fulfillment gains. That the moment you look at that lady and you see prostitution, you see a label. You don't see a human being fundamentally made in the image and likeness of God. Something is taken away from your ability to build rapport. Something is taken away from your ability to see the person as a human being that can be helped. In fact, even when you are speaking the good words you are speaking, the person who you already have a disempowering perspective over, even if your words are not saying it, your physiology says it. The way you address the person says it. So it means that if you are going to succeed in this work, irrespective of whatever you think the decadence in the society is, whatever you think are the problems that we are having, you must, first of all, see somebody as a human being made in the image and likeness of God. Because if you don't see people as human beings, the way you approach them will not be a way that human beings should be talked to, should be addressed, should be looked at, and everything. And how did you just know by merit of a picture that that was a prostitute? And how did you, by merit of people wearing supposedly religious attire, that they were representing religion? People have robbed people wearing priest garments. And then the people like, oh, relaxed because, oh, he's a priest, he's a religious. Meanwhile, he's an armed robber that was dressed in that attire. So it means that we should not, by merit of looks, by merit of whatever, just pre-qualify people, but rather each encounter you have as a human being should first of all be, this is somebody created in love. This is somebody created by God. What went wrong? At what point did this person lose their authenticity? At what point did this person disconnect from the original image and likeness of God? What may have happened in this person's life that would make this person this way? What may have happened in this person's environment? What experiences can this person have gone through that would make the person choose this lifestyle? If you don't do that, you are not going to, make the headway in the society. And let me tell you, it's going to show in your write-ups. You see people post something on social media, you already know they are judgmental. Well, was doing something, and I don't know if you've been in the practice long, if you've been practicing before now, and I'm going to say this as carefully as I'm saying it, but I want the message to go down, especially with religiously inclined family life practitioners. Yesterday or 2 days ago, I shared a testimonial of a couple that my husband and I worked with through marriage preparation. And then when they shared their testimonial with us, they said that they did not want, when his mother was saying, oh, you need to do pre-marriage counseling. No. Like the stories they had heard from their friends were stories of people who all they were told were scriptures. Where how love your wife, respect your husband, submit, and all of that, which are good, but they did not teach them any frameworks. I can't begin to tell you the number of people that when they reach out to me, the first question is, are you a Christian counselor? And I'm like, why are you asking? So I don't want to deal with a Christian counselor. And I'm like, okay, what has been your engagement or experience with them? In fact, one lady I was working with who was dealing with bitterness because she was navigating repeated infidelity with her husband. And then when we were talking, we got to a point and I said to her, I can see how heavy this thing is on you. You don't have to, do you feel that you're ready to forgive? She said, oh, forgiveness again. I'm like, okay. I'm like, you don't need to forgive if you're not ready to forgive. She's like, are you serious? This is the first time I'm hearing it. Everybody has been making me feel like there's something wrong with me because all I hear is forgive, 70 times, 7 times. Nobody is asking how I feel. And I'm like, forgiveness makes no sense if you are not ready. She said that was the first time she was hearing that she had a choice to choose to forgive or not to forgive. So until we begin to see people as human beings, we will not be able to penetrate or to get them the help that they need. Which is why we say that the biggest error in our world today is the error of assumption. Because no matter what you know, when I was asking, how did you get to that conclusion? Somebody says precedence. No matter what you know, all that you currently know is not all there is to know. And it doesn't matter how much you already know. Because so long as we're in this world, there is so much more to learn. And so your problem with meeting people to help them is when you assumption that you know this person because of their dressing, assumption that you know why they are living the lifestyle they are living without even interviewing them, assumption that their case is finalized or there is no hope. You cannot be a family life practitioner and get into this work with assumption. You must always be open. In fact, your sixth sense must always be open to say, what could be going on here? That's the first curious question you ask, no matter what you hear. Even if the person has killed 10 people and buried them and butchered them and raped 6,000 people, your curiosity is, what could have made this person made in the image and likeness of God to become like this? Something must have happened. Because if we were created as gods, then we were created pure, then we were created empowered, then we were created like gods. So if I start to lie, something happened that taught me lying. If I stop trusting people, something must have happened in my life that broke the trust. That is where you start from. Not to begin to dish hell, cast people to hell. Not to begin to say, if you don't do this, your life, no, is to know what happened here. How was this person raised? What has gone wrong somewhere before you can help anybody? If you are not that curious, you will not go far in family life practice. I was talking to a young man and he said to me, Dima, I don't know how you do this, but the things I have told you, and this is a 45-year-old man, I have never told it to anybody. And what do? You just normalize that this person is a human being. You create a safe space for them to feel love because every other person in society is condemning them. If you condemn them, you can't help them. In fact, what you persecute, you give audacity to grow. So assumption is not what you bring into this practice. And unfortunately, many of us being assumptions, we don't even have the knowledge base. Somebody comes with you and they're dealing with stuff. You can't get to the root cause analysis. How do you help somebody? I mean, imagine when you go to the hospital and you complain of this, complain of that, complain of that. Does the doctor just give you medication? They are going to run some tests to get to the root cause. They are going to interview you. They are going to do other things. But a family life practitioner whose knowledge base is skewed will cause more harm than good. And I know that many of us come into this practice genuinely passionate, but passion is not enough. With your passion that is not laced with tested knowledge, you are going to destroy lives. You are going to destroy marriages. You are going to make people worse than they came to you if you just do family life practice with passion alone. And I dare tell you, you can passionately end up in prison. Because let's assume somebody is suicidal and you are working with the person and all you say, you know, let's raise an altar. You need to go to the war room. We need to pray about the demons of depression. Meanwhile, you are not able to understand what is happening mentally and emotionally. And that person commits suicide. You will be the first person that will be picked up to come and answer the intervention you were doing with that person. And if you don't have anything viable to say, that might just land you sleeping behind the counter for some days. So passion is not enough. You need knowledge. And you need knowledge that has been proven and tested. And you need knowledge that is globally relevant. You need knowledge that is scalable. So ask yourself, the practice that I'm currently doing, am I just speaking based on my own experience? Am I just speaking based on, hey, they say in our culture? Or do you have a framework that helps you to diagnose what is happening with your clients, sit with them to go through it, creating a safe space where they can be vulnerable and open with you, and then having recommendations that you make to them, and having a system of checking in to know if your recommendation is working or if you will need further testing. So reality check. Let's do a reality check. How skilled are you in handling the various problems in the family life sector? How skilled are you in understanding a child? You want to work with a family that is having an issue with their children, but you don't even have the basic understanding of the developmental stages of a child. You're talking, hey, Gen Z, I'm not going to be a party of this Gen Z generation. In our time, we did not do this. Do you understand the peculiarities of the Gen Z generation? Do you know what it means to be born in an age where you have immediate access to information and idiocy? So you want to ask yourself, what knowledge do I have? People are quarreling and they bring you to the case. How are you able to get to the root of the matter? To know that this person that is, shouting at the wife, it's not about the wife. It's about insecurities that the man has. But how do you get to the insecurities if you don't have tools that help you to extract the man? Somebody is not having sex in the family, and you just come and say, oh, sex is important. It's important for sex. They know they're important to sex, but you have not reached the cocoa. Do you know what would have happened that would make a person not even know how to love themselves, talk less of loving somebody else? So ask yourself, how skilled are you? And in checking your skill set is by you being honest to even check the results that you have produced in this practice, or the kind of results you want to produce. It's not enough to have one random result. Do you have a track record of results? And can your result be put together into a framework that can be taught to other people because it has continued to get results? Recently, my husband and I decided to go public with the framework we've been using over the years to work with marriage preparation. And we said, you know what? For the dream we have of helping people start marriage rights, it can't just be only us. This framework that we have used for this number of years, we put it together and we started to train people to use the framework, such that it's not only two of us using this framework that has been tested for over 15 years, but people are now using it and they're like, wow, it helps me to do this. The family systems engineering certification, when you write your OYELA for your clients, you get at least over 95% accuracy. And the people are like, how did you know this was happening? Oh, who told you? It's like you took a mirror into our home, but it's because you are able to meet the needs and hit the nail on the head to truly understand the root cause of their issues. So when you're doing this reality check, the question is, what is your desired family life practice results? It doesn't matter whether you are just starting. It doesn't matter whether you are aspiring. It doesn't matter whether you have been in the practice for years. What kind of results do you want to produce? Is that the kind of results you are currently producing? We are doing a reality check here. Is that the kind of results you are currently producing? What actions have you taken so far in building your practice? And how effective are those actions? Is it an action you have to deal with your mindset because you don't believe that you can create that kind of effect? Or is it a mindset that you don't believe that you can be paid a certain amount? Or is it a mindset, or is it a question of, I don't even know the skills, I know these things, but I don't even know how to organize my thoughts, how to build a framework around it? What beliefs do you have about yourself and your practice? Critical questions. Because if you are going to embrace this new rules of family life practice, it starts from what you're believing. What beliefs have you installed? What is your competence and confidence level? If I ask you, how competent are you in this family life practice? What would your sincere answer be on a scale of 0 to 10? Where 0 is, I am least competent, and 10 is, I am most competent. Where would you place yourself? Then aside from the competence, what about your confidence levels? On that same scale of 0 to 10, how confident are you that you can create change, that you can help people having diverse family life issues get the results they want on a scale of 0 to 10? And then if you're looking at your practice, if you're already practicing, how many clients have you successfully assisted in the last 1 year? Even if you're aspiring, what's your dream? How many clients do you want to be able to assist every year? If the year goal looks too ambiguous for you, every month, every quarter, how many people do you want to really assist? And how much were the people you assisted, how much were they willing to pay you? Are you aware that as you grow in this practice, you can actually, from one intervention, charge as much as $3,000, even $10,000, depending on the scale of the intervention that you're doing? The minimum, even for our new, if you just take the training and you want to begin to practice just to start, we don't even, we advise or recommend for our startup people, when you're writing your report, you're working with a client comes, you do the, you administer your YELA to them, you write the report for them. The minimum you should even charge for writing reports is say 30,000 naira. But you can help a family craft their family ideology, their family vision, build a dream team, and be paid as much as $1,000, depending on where you are on the spectrum of the job, as much as even $10,000. So how much do you think that the value you're giving to your clients is worth? That's the question you should be asking yourself. And what separates the people that are able to make the money? And it's not just about making the money, it's about delivering results. It's about continuity. It's a question of your competence, your mastery of a working framework, and the confidence that you have in yourself. So that is the conversation I'm going to be having with us. In a moment, I will hand over to another team member who will be coming to stay with you to look at the struggles that family life practitioners make. But before then, I want to get 1 or 2 people share with me with what we looked at, the picture we looked at, and the different ways we found ourselves getting quick to label them, box them into something, and realizing that I didn't just know this person, I just judged the person by their looks. And then beaming the searchlight in your practice. Where would you rate your success rates? your confidence level, your competence level, and fundamentally the beliefs you have around your practice. I'm going to take a moment to just read what people are saying in the chat room. And if you want to unmute yourself and share something, please let me know, because I will be taking a bow whilst I invite the delectable Tolani to do justice to the next module, and I'll still catch you tomorrow. So somebody said passion is not enough, building knowledge. If you castigate them, you can't help them. Fantastic. Yeah, what you persecute, you give audacity to grow. What else? Okay. So this is we just started this conversation. We're going to be meeting again tomorrow. And tomorrow I will share some things with you. But right about now, let's look at why you may be struggling. And Tolani is going to do that. And I know she's going to do justice. But please keep a date with us tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll begin to look at those new rules of family life practice. And we'll begin to look at even the things that you need to put in place for you to become a formidable authority in family life practice, not only making money, but serving solutions that work, going global, and also being one that government is reaching out for to come and create solutions for your communities, for your societies, and for Nigeria and Africa as a whole. Over to you, Tolani.
Wow. That's an amazing one. And you would all agree with me. So before I will take over, thank you, Mrs. Dima Mobi. That's Director of Studies, Institute of Family Engineering and Development, the Queen of Happiness herself, my very own coach. I want to say in the chat room what jumped out for you while she was taking the first session. What is one thing that you have learned and that you're going to do differently before we go into the second session? One thing that she said that jumped out at you and something that you're going to do differently. Okay, someone, let's go into the chat room and see what we have. Someone is saying, my case is how to become a practitioner and how do I start? Don't worry, that's why you're here. I hope I pronounced that correctly. It says, see people, not labels. Yes, don't label people. Fantastic. I would agree that I deserve to earn from this practice. Beautiful. So I'm going to be sharing with us 7 reasons why family life practitioners struggle. And I want you to follow me closely. Number 1 is profitability mental block. Can this work pay my bills? You know, I have done this professionally for about 6-7 years now. And when people come to me and then they say, oh, Tolani, why not just do this for God? Especially people who also run their own business. So for example, let's say, for example, you're working with a school, and then they tell you, we just want you to work for these children. These children need help. You know, we're doing it for God. And the simple question that I usually would ask them is, if I bring my child to your school, I know that you're also trying to help children. You want them, to be better citizens. Would you do it for free? Will I have to, pay school fees? Or no, you can do it for free because you're trying to help humanity. One of the challenges that we have, why we are struggling as family life practitioner, is profitability mental block. You're asking yourself, can this pay your bills? Oh, yes, you can pay your bills. But the question is, do you even understand? Like Jima said earlier, when you are not sure of what you can do is when you begin to get scared of whether you should charge or not. But when you're certain and you're sure of what you can deliver on, when I started out and people were saying, no, I'm just starting out, I don't chat so well. I told them, I know what I know. I sat in class for days to take these trainings. I am reading, I'm gathering knowledge per time. I understand this thing in and out. I understand how to work with you to get your results. As much as I work with families, I am a teen coach, I work with teenagers. So when parents are saying, oh, I'm struggling with my teenager, I know how to work with your teenager. And then I moved when I realized that oftentimes one of the challenges that teenagers have is oftentimes from their parents, and I moved into parenting. Then while I was in parenting, then I realized that, sometimes the reason why parents could not come together to agree on a template that would help the family is because the marriage is not even working. So the minute I got out of school, I was into human resources, and I was just passionate about family. I wanted family to work, you know. And when I got into this class, it was a life changer for me. I've been working with ladies, I've been working with people, even while I was an undergraduate in school. But taking this certification course some 6-7 years back was a life changer for me. And one of the challenges why people do not make profit from this is the profitability mental block. Can this work pay my bills? That's the question that they're asking. But yes, it can. But the question would be that, do you understand how this work works? Do you understand how to help people get results? Because why would I pay you if you do not know how to help me get from a part A to a part B? So a family comes to you and say, oh, this is the issues that we're having, and you have not been able to help them solve the problem. How then can you get paid? And oftentimes the reason why you're scared to charge is because you are not sure of what your work can do. When people call me, I give you my bills. I'm not even flinching them. I'm not bothered. Do you have the money? Oh yes, I'll work with you. If you don't, okay, there's always somebody who can do it cheaper. It's okay. I'm not bothered about who can do it cheaper because I know the result that I will get with you. So oftentimes the reason why you do not have that confidence to be able to charge for what you do is because you're not certain, you're not sure of the result that you're going to get. You're not sure whether you understand what it is that you're doing. And number two thing is lack of creative productization or leverage. You're very busy, but yet to create any transformative solutions that the market needs. So the question is, what aspect do you want to focus on? Do you want to be a parent coach? Do you want to be a teen coach? Do you want to be, do you want to focus on singles who are trying to get married, ensuring that they marry right? Do you want to work with couples who are already married and you want to ensure that they're enjoying their marriage? Are you just busy? Today you're talking about premarital, tomorrow you're talking about infidelity in marriage, next tomorrow you're talking about co-parenting. What exactly do you want to do? Lack of creative productization or leverage. You're very busy after church, or if you're a religious person, after church on Sunday, you're busy seeing 10 people, 20 people that your children do not even have time. You don't have time for your children. You go home, people are calling you. So someone just calls you on the phone and say, so this is the issue I am having. And then you say, okay, let's get on a call. And then you're on the call all day trying to help people. You're giving advice. You're not creating a business out of what you know. You're very busy. So all day, by the end of the day, you're saying, oh, I'm exhausted. Oh, I'm tired. You've been very busy, but you have not been able to create a transformative solution that your market needs. You have not been able to say, okay, so the kind of people who come to me regularly, what do they need? What solution am I most interested in? What solution do I want to solve for humanity? So when people come to me, what is the first thing that I get? What's the first thing they get to do? Or will anybody just call you up and say, oh, so Alex, this is a challenge I am having, or my wife says she's complaining that I don't love her. So can I get on a call with you? And then you get on a call and then you advise for 2-3 hours. No systems in place. So one of the reasons why your family life practice is not profitable is because you lack creative leverage or creative productization. You can't get busy without creating a system for what you do. Number 3, obsolete or ineffective practice templates. How relevant are your tools? How relevant are your method? How relevant are your message today? How much do you trust them to produce the desired result? If someone comes to you and says, this is a challenge I have in my home, do you know what to do? Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, that you will design that will deliver the result that this person wants. I once had a case, someone came to me and said, oh, it was a case of an abuse, so this abuse now is affecting me and blah, blah, blah. After listening, I knew that something was happening, and the next question I asked was, where is your dad? Now, because I understand this, listening to my client, allowing them run the assessment, I could already pick what the issues are with them. And so I'm not trying to do a guesswork. Oh, it could be this. It's like you going to the hospital and then you're complaining, oh, I have headache, there is fever, maybe I'm vomiting, or, you know, and all of those symptoms that you come with. And the doctor says, I remember I had a similar experience. I went to the hospital and after telling the doctor all the symptoms I was feeling, and the doctor said, I'm suspecting it's likely going to be maybe malaria and typhoid. And I'm like, you don't think that based on the symptoms, I also already feel like it's likely going to be malaria or typhoid. But I came to the hospital because I want you to test me and be sure that that is what we're dealing with so that you can give me medication that is appropriate for what we need to deal with. And he said, no, he sees this kind of symptoms all the time. He's likely going to be malaria. But I insisted, said, no, if I wanted to just, take malaria medication or typhoid I would have just gone to the pharmacies and, get one. But I want to get tested because we need to be sure. You can't be working with families. These are people's life. You can literally destroy them much more than what they were dealing with if you're not sure. If your templates are ineffective, if the tools that you have not mastered them, you mean well, but you are doing it exactly the wrong way because you have not mastered your tool. I told the doctor, I insist I want a test. And by the time the test came out, you know what? No malaria, no typhoid. So imagine that I had gone ahead to take medication for malaria and typhoid that was not in my system. What do you think would have happened? Sometimes that's what we do in our practice. We do not have the necessary tools. We do not have the relevant tools. We do not have the right message. We just give random advice and say, oh, for your husband to be going out is probably because you are not having sex with him regularly, forgetting that. How did you even arrive at, oh, it's because the wife is not having sex with her husband enough is why the husband is going out? No, you have not sat down with the client, run the assessment to be sure what it is that we're dealing with. So number 3 is the obsolete and ineffective practice template that you use. And number 4 is your inability to master business systems. You feel like freely you have received it, freely you give mentality with no scalable system, structure, or strategy. How do you build a system out of the practice that you have? Because the reason why you're not making money with your practice is your inability to master the business system. There is a system to this. And if you look at what we have on the screen, number 1 thing is to create and master your solution and trade. What is it that you have that you want to offer to humanity? What is the focus? Who are the people you're called to? Who are the people that you want to help? The next thing is to sound and focus your signal and ensure it is the best that exists. So if you have said premarital counseling is what you want to do, you don't go posting how you made a vegetable soup on your Instagram. And then day 2, you don't want to go on your page and talk about how you are a very good dancer. Then day 3, the things you post on your page are not in alignment with the solution you are trying to sell. So how would people come to you when they have challenges? So the people you have in your circle, if they have the challenge that you solve, would they come to you? The question is, are they even aware that you can offer that solution? So are you focused? The signal that you are giving out part time, is it focused on the things that you can deliver on? And the next thing is attract and build a tribe of believers and institute a training for them. So if every day you're talking about how communication is important before people get married, how it is important for people to understand themselves, you're giving content, you're giving value per time, then from time to time you create and say, okay, so we now have people who now know that when they come to your page, they will get value. Then you can then say, you know what, this weekend, I'm going to create a training, maybe a 30 minutes or a 1-hour class, and I'm going to be teaching on this topic that is in alignment with who you want to be known for, or the kind of product or the kind of solution that you have for the people. Then the next one is you're going to turn believers to evangelists and place them on a commission. So when you have done this, They help people who say, oh, when I attended this training, it was amazing. I was able to identify this sabotaging patterns that I have. I was able to get help. Then they go all out to begin to help you tell other people. Or when you have issues, there are a lot of people that come to me that I don't know them from anywhere. They just send me a message and say, oh, I got your details from so person. This person said you can help me. Oh, I got your message. I got your details from this person. I hear that when I have any issues, you are the one I should come to. The people who are in your circle, do they even know the solution that you bring? They are aware that you have a system in place. Are they aware that this family life is a business to you? Then now you're converting these evangelists to disciples. They're the one going about helping you, announce to other people to say, there is this solution here. This person can deliver this solution. And sometimes when they bring product to you, you can do referral to say, oh, for every one person that you bring, you get this cost. Maybe you get a 20% or you get a 10%. The next thing to do is build systems that give disciples independent expression. Before you go on to create borderless system for subscribers, irrespective of where they are, that it would not just be people who are in your church, it would not just be people who are in your mosque or what your religious houses, it wouldn't be people who are just around your locality. You have been able to create a system that anybody can join you from whatever in the world. I have clients who are in the UK who just say, oh, somebody recommended me. Oh, fine, let's get on a call. Fill this form, run this assessment, let me know what we're dealing with, and then we'll get on a call. All sessions done online because it's borderless. Not just going to be available physically in my office and waiting for people to come in, because they can now join me online. There are different platforms that you can create that people can join you on. Track subscribers and allow disciples to manage them for you at a cost. So you can have a mailing list where you give something for free, you allow people maybe download. These are ways that you can master, build a system around what you do. When people call you, don't just jump in advising and say, oh, this is the challenge. In fact, I've handled this case before. In fact, it has even happened in my own marriage. This and this is what you should do. Let me go into the chat room. I think someone is saying something. The slide is moving. Oh, yes, it will move. But can you see what I have on the screen? Inability to master business system. Is that what you can see? Yes, Nonye, build a system around what you do. That even when you're not around, let's say you're out of town, maybe if, for example, let's say you stay in Lagos and you're in Abuja, there is a system that you have created, and regardless of where you are, as long as you have your device with you, anybody can book a session for you. To say you want to have a session with me, okay, fill this form. Not just you on the phone and listen to somebody's old story. Get them to fill a form. Tell me your name, tell me your location, how old are you, what issue do you want me to solve for you. They fill the form, you have access to it. So before you even book a date, and you can connect it to let's say a Calendly account where they can book a free date that you're available on time. So if you have some other things that you do and you're saying, oh, I only want to do sessions maybe on Tuesdays and on Thursdays, or Tuesday, Thursdays and Fridays, then you have that Calendly where when they fill the form, it takes them there. They can see the available dates that you have. They book a date and a time that you're free. They get an automated mail to say, oh, this session has been booked. And for the payment, before they're able to even get a free date, they have made payment. You have no interaction with the clients. But you know why we won't do that? Freely have I received it. Freely will I give it. So you're not willing to scale that business. No structures, no strategies, no systems. Because you now need to move ahead to standardize and manage that standardization and reinvent new solutions. To say, okay, now that I have done this, could it then be that the next thing to do is to then create a course around this? Or there are more people who need this. I can create a course, put it on the platform, put a fee to it. All I need to do is to send the links out. Anybody can take it without my interaction. And so while you sleep in your house, money is coming into your account because you don't need to interact with the people. You have created a system around what you do. And then it gives you more time to create the next level of solution, and then you repeat the same process. Is anyone still with me? If yes, please go into the chat room and say yes. Yes. So the question is, for everyone on this call, do you think that you have a system? Have you been able to put a system in place for your practice? Or you're waiting for people to, call you, and then you sit on the phone for 2 hours and you're advising somebody at no cost, no fee, because you're just advising. No system in place. So you can have 10 people calling you every day, and what you are doing is advising. At the end of the day, you are exhausted. You do not have time for your family. You do not have time for your children, and you have not made money doing so. For every time I show up anywhere to teach, you have to pay me because that's my work. That's what I do for a living. It's my work. It's not part-time. Yes, freely I have received. Freely have I received what? The trainings are not free. The number of time I sit to put slides together to teach are not free. So I charge for them. The next one, confusing family life practice with activism. You are helping people. This is not a luta continua. No. Yes, you want families to work. Beautiful. But this is what you're doing for a living. I want teenagers to bond with their parents. I want them to have smooth relationship. But this is what I do for a living. So if I'm going to sit with a teenager who maybe you've observed some behavior with your teenager and you want me to help with him or her, you would pay me. Because for every time, for every 1 hour I sit with that child, that's my life. I'm giving my life. For every 1 hour, for every 90 minutes I get to sit to teach, that's my life. I have to get paid for it. Oh, yes, I love it. Oh, yes, I want to help as many people as possible, but I want to get paid doing it. It's just the same way you go to the hospital. Dima gave that example. They want to help people. They don't want anybody to die. Oh, yes, they have an auto. They need to help anybody who comes to the hospital. But do you walk into the hospital without money? Would anybody answer you? Would you get treated? Why do you think you go to the hospital and they tell you, oh, payment first before any doctor would even see you? So why is it that when it comes to family life practice, we're just excited about it? Oh, we want to just help people. Oh, I don't want souls to perish. I don't want families to break. It comes at it. Why do you go to school? Why is it that when your children go to school, the school is collecting money from you? Are they not also trying to help the children? Is it not that the school also wants to reduce the level of illiteracy in the nation? But you pay for every child that you send to school. Oh, I just want to help divorced people get their life back. It has to be for a fee. Because the systems, the structure you put in place, the knowledge was not gotten for free. Even if you say, oh, yes, I went online, I was reading, it took you hours, it took you data. You know how I charge when I go for speaking engagement? And there's some budgets that don't bother. I will not show up. I will not even do it in my house. Some people say, oh, we have a speaking engagement and our budget is 50,000. Not me. For every 1 hour I show up at your event, you don't have 250,000 naira. We're not having a conversation for 1 hour. You know what? So people say, oh, but that's a lot of money. I thought you are doing it for God. Yes, I am. But I'm going to drive to your place. That's well. You have taken 1 hour of my life to come and scream and shout and talk. And forgetting the number of hours you are taking me to put the slides together, to even say, okay, what topic do we want to talk about? Let me look at how to put this together. It's taking life away from me. But you know what? You would say, oh, it's okay. I can manage even if it's 20K or even if it's 50,000 naira, because you're not sure of the value that you're delivering. So you will be very busy. And you know what would happen? You would do, say, 10 speaking engagements in a month at 50,000 naira. And that will give you 500,000. I only need to do 2 to get the same 500,000 naira. That's what we're saying. Don't get too busy. Rather, master the skills, master the tools, get training. And that's one of the things that I love about the Family Systems Engineering Certification course. It will give you the tools and the systems that you need. Someone comes to me, I send you the assessment, you send it back to me. I already know what to, in fact, from the assessment, I already know that, oh, you would need 8 sessions to handle what it is that we want to deal with. 8 sessions. And I already created a plan. Week 1, we will handle this. Week 2, we will handle this. Let me give you a typical example. One of the assessments, right, would handle the personality of this person. And when the results, when I looked at the what she filled and sent back to me, and I was putting on the report together, and then I realized that there is no congruence within this person's personality. There are 2 contrast personalities. So I probed further to ask, what happened? This, you're saying I am a very organized and put together person. At the same time, you're saying I'm not put together, I am very scattered. He said, they don't align. Help me understand what was happening. You know what we discovered? We discovered that while this client was a child, had a very humble background, it was free, she was going to a good school, she had friends, freedom, and all of a sudden her parents changed the environment. She was this very playful, exciting child, happy child, and they moved her to a different school. So to create context, she grew up from a deeper life background where no earrings, no trouser, all skirts, very modest, but she's this happy, exciting child. Now, by the time she was getting into senior school, the parents relocated to another place, so they moved her to a new school that was not like the old school. Now, when she got into this new school, because she didn't, she wasn't wearing earrings, no makeup, always on skirts and all of that, a lot of the students started picking on her. Oh, SU. And then she was intimidated, her esteem was affected, she went into her shell, and she just focused on academics, and that was it till date. Until she filled that assessment, and I was able to see something had happened in here. So imagine that I did not run the assessment. How would I have figured out that was where the shift came from? And in fact, what she came in for was totally different from what she thought the challenge was. By the time we analyzed that assessment, just one of the 4 assessments that she did, just one of it, the following we said, you know what? I know what the challenge is. That was the aha moment for her. To say that if you have the right tools, it's easy. You don't sit down trying to figure out, okay, so what is wrong with this person? So why is this person like this? And you are trying to use native intelligence to, I'm trying to say at that time, I had handled a case like this, because no one case is the same. No case is the same. They might look similar, but they're definitely not the same. Because you are looking, 3 things make an individual: their environment, their upbringing, and some significant emotional experiences. So even when 2 people have gone through the same experience, the background is different. Their upbringing is different. So they will react to this situation, although the same, differently because of their upbringing. Don't confuse family life practice with activism. It's not. Yes, you're excited about it. Yes, you want to help as many people as possible, but this is, unless you are saying, I already have something paying my bills, I just want to do this as an NGO, I do not intend to make money out of it, okay. But if you want to run this as a business, then you need to be able to charge for the value that you're bringing to people, for the healing that you're bringing to people. Don't look at it as, oh, I want them to make, I'm making money off these people, or I'm charging. You are offering a service, and so you should be paid for the service that you're rendering. So imagine that the people that you're working with, you're not doing the work you're doing with them. What do you think would happen to them? So if I am not able to help a teenager bond well with her parents, and this child goes into drugs, how much do you think it will cost this parent to be able to get this child back to himself when he's hooked on drugs already? I'm trying to help this child when he's hooked on drugs because he could not bond with his parents. Why not help this child bond with the parent before that time, so that we don't have to be working on remedy and trying to get a damaged child to be awesome again when we could have prevented it? practitioners, low self-esteem. Who am I to teach anyone how to do marriage better? How many of you think like this? Just go into the chat room and say, I. Who am I to teach anybody how to do marriage better? Do I even know how to do marriage? It's my own marriage, even working. I remember that when I started working, when I took this training, I was single at the time. I wasn't married. And I had a client. I had clients come into the office, and a couple. And I ran the assessment while I gave them the form to fill, to say, okay, fill up this form so that we can figure out what is happening. I can see all of you saying I in the chat room. Today we're going to be different because it will no longer happen. And the man said, I'm sorry, who is going to be taking our session? I said, I am. I'm the one, I'm on duty. I would be taking the session. And the man said, but you're a woman. I said, is there a problem? He said, that you're even a woman is not only the problem. Is that I'm looking at your hand. You don't look like you are married. Oh, is that a problem? And he said, it's a problem for him. Oh, he cannot allow somebody who is unmarried to handle the session. Okay, it's fine. And he said he wouldn't go ahead with the session. I don't have a problem with it. I won't force a client to work with me. But the wife insisted and said, you know what, you can go. I want to work with this person. As long as she can help, I don't mind. So I went ahead. They filled the form, of course. I ran the assessment and I sent it back to them to say, oh, based on the assessment you filled, this and this and this and this. And this man came back next time and I said, oh, he's so sorry. By the time he saw the report I sent, in his mind, he was wondering, a lady who has never been married, how will she know how to help me? I said, it's okay. I wasn't offended. I know what I can deliver on. You are the one who needs help. You are the one whose marriage is breaking. So if you do not want to, it's okay. Who am I to teach anyone how to do marriage? There are principles, there are templates. Whether you are, it's like asking a doctor who is male to say, do you know how to help me deliver my baby because you are male? He knows what he knows. It's like asking a single lady who is not married that you can't help me deliver my baby because you have never been pregnant. Or you go to the hospital and you are telling the doctor to say, oh, this is the pain I feel. And she's explaining to you, oh, do you also feel the pain in this side? And you say, oh, yes, how did you know that? She doesn't have to be pregnant to know. It's knowledge. She learns it. The same way you're learning how to work with people. The same way you're going to be given tools. And that's one of the beautiful things about family system engineering. You are not working based on your tools are given to you. You have different tools to work with. If it's trauma we're dealing with, you have tools to go back into the childhood of whatever client you're working with to be able, it might not even be something that is far away. It might be something that happened recently, but you're able to go back in history into the life of this person and find out why they are behaving in a certain way based on the tools that you have. But then you're asking yourself, who am I to teach anyone how to do marriage better? I help parents. Even before I got married, people are wondering, Tolani, how do you do that? Well, you don't have children. You're not even married. There are principles. There are tools. And that's why when you go to the hospital, the doctor doesn't have to have had cancer before when you talk about the symptoms and they know what test. I went to the hospital some times ago and I was complaining to the doctor. I think I said I couldn't sleep or something. And the doctor just said, oh, you need to go and run this test. And I'm like, I can't sleep or I'm struggling to sleep. How does not being able to sleep, how did you know that this is the kind of test? That is what he's trained to do. He is trained to understand that, when this person has certain symptoms or is behaving this way, this is likely it. But for him to confirm that that's exactly what he's dealing with, this way you need to run this test. So who are you not to teach marriage? Who are you not to help singles not to make mistakes? Because you made mistake? Oh yes, you made mistake is the reason why you want to help others not to make the same mistake. Oh, I know what it means to not have a happy marriage. I'm struggling myself. So I'm asking myself, what gives me the right to go about teaching other people how to do marriage well when I'm not enjoying my own marriage? That's the exact reason why you need to gather the knowledge get the tools, and be able to help other people so that they are not also in a marriage that they are not enjoying. Some people will say, oh, but my marriage is off. I am divorced. I'm no longer with my partner because we couldn't make the marriage work. So how would I then be able to help other people? Would they not say, oh, why is my own marriage not? The marriage did not work. It takes two to tango. That your marriage did not work is not dependent on just you. It was dependent on the two parties. So if you were trying to make the marriage work and the person you are married to does not want to make the marriage work, how then would you have done that? So that's not on you. Or maybe at the time, you didn't even have the tools, you didn't have the knowledge, but now you know better and you're trying to protect other people. So you really do not have any excuse as to, how can I teach this? How? Am I fit enough? I'm just married 1 year. Oh, I'm just married 2 years. Oh, I've been married 20 years, but it's not like I even know how to do this marriage thing. So who am I to teach marriage? But the question is, who are you not to teach marriage? The next one, certification without contextualization. So we want foreign certificate syndrome with no transformative solution. So we go online, take certification courses, but then how well can we relate the reality? Sometimes I read some books and I'm like, nah, this cannot work for my people. This cannot work. Because you want to also look at the people that you're dealing with, the cultural biases that they have. How then do you ensure that you bypass their conscious resistance with your tools? I'm not saying that certifications are not good. I am saying that, are you able to make those tools that you have learned work with the kind of people that you are working with? The culture, the religion. Yes, foreign certificates. Oh, if it's not foreign, then it's not good. No. No. One of the beautiful things about Family Systems Engineering Certification course is that it is developed here for our people. Here for our people. So, and that's why it was easy for people who had traveled out, to be able to use it on African descendants, even wherever they are. So you have people who are in Canada, whatever country they're in, they are also able to, because marital problems are everywhere. The same marriage. I remember that I took a session some 2 weeks back. They are not in Africa. I think one French-speaking country. I took a session there. And one of the things that I realized is these are people who have left Nigeria or left Africa 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, and they're in diaspora. Yet, the African culture has not left them. They still believe that, although we're here, this is how things should be done. I want freshly made food by my wife because that is how it is done in Africa. Although we work shift job here, I don't mind. I still want my wife to do all of this. And the wives are complaining and say, you know what? This is no longer working for me. To say that regardless of where you are, the same principles work. It was developed for our people. Putting in place the biases, the beliefs that could sabotage their relationship. And you are able to bypass that and be able to help them get the desired result that they want. So, reality check. Which of these reasons can you relate with? Let's talk here. Which of these can you relate with? Let me go into the chat room and see what we have. Does anyone know it all? Eluojo. It's like asking a medical doctor if he knows everything about the sickness that his people or the clients are bringing to him. You don't have to know it all, but the one you have decided to know, please know it well. If it is premarital you want to work with, then you should know it well. If it is marital you want to work with, or post-marital, or parent, whatever it is you want to work with, please know it well. You can know one well. You don't have to know all well. And that's why we have specialists, people who are specialized in this, others are specialized in that. Yes, you can know. Pick the one you want to focus on and know it well and be able to help your people. There are principles, there are tools, yes. Okay, Poria says, I think self-esteem was my biggest barrier. Louise, profitability block and building system speaks to me loudly. Okay, please go into the chat room. Let me know which one speaks to you the most. No one knows it all. I don't have to know it all, but the one I have decided to know, I must know it well. Beautiful King, you just take it out of me. Yes, you don't have to know it all, but the ones that I know, oh my, wake me up in the middle of the night, I know it. And I'm able to help you with it. The ideology that a divorce counselor cannot give proper solution to a couple having marital issues. You have been in it. You understand what should be done, what shouldn't be done. You understand now the building blocks is why you want to help other people ensure that they don't fall into the same thing. And I think usually is the issue of shame. Why I think shame is one thing that I would love to teach about one day. Shame. Say, oh, my own marriage did not work. It takes two to tango. That just did not work, but don't mean that you don't have the tools to be able to help other people ensure that their own marriage will work. King says inability to master business systems speaks more to me. Yes, you need to be able to build structure. You need to be able to build system in place for your business. So look at someone like Praise for Warwick. Oh, business, everybody knew Praise for Warwick would go out for speaking engagements and the business growing. But now it was time for us to expand. And, we're now in Canada, we have operation in Canada, we have operation in the US, we have operation in UK, and somebody needed to be there to master all of this. I am in Nigeria, and the business is still growing. Systems. That the visionaire or the person who started the business has set up and put systems in place to ensure that whether I'm in or not, there is a system that will keep this business growing. So the question is, what system have you put in place? Let me also see what we have. Jenny says, I should choose an area of specialty and know it very well. Beautiful. Vivian, building the systems around what you do. Yeah, profitability block and building systems speaks more to me. Shame. Okay, Rookie says shame. I'm just starting out, just registered for the parent coaching program after calls from people who found my nugget insightful. Beautiful. Whatever it is you want to focus on, know it well. Wake me up. In fact, don't tell me that you're going to, give me this or call me to do this. I am ready. I'm available. I will get to it. Because I know what I know. Call me at any time. I would speak to it because I know it well enough. At the root of a struggling practice are self-sabotaging beliefs that every high-performing professional has installed. I'm going to say that again before we wrap it up tonight. At the root of a struggling practice are self-sabotaging beliefs that every high-performing professional has uninstalled. So the question is, what is your own self-sabotaging belief that you need to uninstall? And when we come tomorrow, that is where we are going to be starting from. So you need to be able to identify what those self-sabotaging beliefs are. Meekness says not believing in myself. Why? What makes, there's a belief, there's something fueling that. Before now, when I first started out, I used to think, I have not mastered this. I have not mastered that. No, I decided to pick it one after the other. Understand this one. I understand it very well. Okay, on to the next one. On to the next one. Pace yourself. Pace yourself. You don't have to know it all, but that one that you know it very well. Know it so well that regardless of who calls you, you can deliver per time. Yes. Omolara. Whatever I know, I should know it well. Whatever your hand finds to do it well. I should be confident in myself. Exactly. Just starting this practice, learning a lot. I already have an area of focus. I need to work on all these areas of struggle. Building confidence on what I know without shame and making it productive. Yes. What makes you think that you don't know what you know so well? Okay, Rookie says he has a question. Does making a choice to focus on parent coaching negate wanting to take the FESEC certification? No. No. Before I did parenting certification, I did family systems engineering certification first to understand how people are engineered, how humans are engineered, understanding that for everyone that I see today, there is something that had groomed these people to behave the way they are behaving right now. And don't forget that the people who grow up to them become parents, because those are roles. Every man and every human, every woman is an identity. A man and a woman is identity. When they get married, they pick up the role of wife and husband. When they have babies, they pick up the role of a father and a mother. So FESEC gives you that basis, understanding how everyone is groomed, how everyone had come to be who they are right now. You're able to understand whatever. So FESEC can be used to help, even if you're saying, oh, I want to be a clarity coach, I want to be able to help people achieve results. It gives you that basis. You have the tools to use. First of all, to help the individual. Then to now say, okay, when this person wants to mingle with another person or want to, date someone else or want to get married, now how can I help them align to be able to be sure that they would have a beautiful marriage? While they're in the marriage, what are the building blocks? How can I help them? How do I ensure that their marriage stands the test of time? Am I able to help them, support them with tools? So yes, Meekness says, they believe that I need to see the results first in kids before. No. And I'm going to stop here. Admin has sent me a message. We'll stop here for tonight. Pastor Fidelis says, I'm a single and teen coach. Is the course also built for the purpose? If you work with singles, yes, it would work with you. And even while you're going to be working with teenagers, you also understand some basic things. Yes. I'm just launching into practice, trying to know the right tools for my area of interest and build a business. Family systems engineering is an amazing course for you. And I will draw the curtain here tonight and hand over to Blessing. But before I do that, admin, if you have the link for anybody to sign up, please, you can share the link before we come tomorrow and talk about how to help you break those sabotaging beliefs that you have. Because there's something we call triangle of life. The results you are currently getting is based on some certain behaviors that you have put up. And those behaviors are as a result of your belief. So I don't think that I am good enough to handle couples or to work with anyone who is trying to get married. If that's the belief that you have. When you hear anybody saying, oh, I need a coach, or I need someone that can work with my singles so that they can get it right, you are likely not going to say you can help because your belief thinks that you're not good enough to help. And what results do you get? No clients. Because they said, oh, if anybody that can help these people prepare for marriage, I'm going to pay them maybe 500,000. And then your mind feels, 500,000. I can't help you. I don't think that I have the wisdom or the tools or the knowledge, whatever it would take for me to be able to help these people. But when it's free, when we just need someone to come and advise people, then you say, I think I can advise. I've been advising people. We will break down all those your sabotaging beliefs tomorrow. Ensure you show up on time. That time is 7 p.m. West African time. So if you're not joining from Nigeria or if you're not in the West African time, just check online and see what time it is for you for the 7 p.m. West African time, and we'll continue this tomorrow. Blessing Christopher, where are you? Let me know, all of you in the chat room, what is it that jumped out for you in this session? What jumped out for you? And I will see you all tomorrow while I hand over to Blessing, but I'll be in the chat room looking at all the things that you're dropping. Thank you.
Wow, Coach Tolani, I must say that this was absolutely phenomenal. Thank you for sharing your incredible knowledge with us tonight. For the attendees, you will attest to this, that tonight was truly transformational. This is just day one. Imagine what you'll be getting tomorrow, which is day 2. A lot of questions in the comment in the chat box on how are we going to start this and how, all the how questions. Tomorrow you're going to get answers. And I know that tonight, my notes, if I'd written this much, how about you? I know that we all had juicy takeaway from tonight's session. And come tomorrow ready with your questions, because the Queen of Happiness will be here again tomorrow. And like Coach Talali said, tomorrow you have your questions answered. You have a lot on how to register, how to connect, how to get the tools, all the how-tos will be answered tomorrow. And I'm telling you that there is no way to put this than to let you know that FSC is the real deal. You are in for transformation if only you decide to connect and stay connected. So thank you all for joining tonight. Thank you all for staying to the end. I know that your journey and your career of coaching is about to take a new turn. Don't forget to come in tomorrow, same time, same link. Share this with your colleague and friends. You know, we had a lot tonight. You can attest to the energy, to the goodness, to the goodies in here tonight. So tomorrow is going to be on a different level entirely, and we can't wait to have you all. Thank you for joining all. Thank you. And okay, the admin has the link here. So please, in case you're not in the WhatsApp, the admin can also add it the way you can get the link whereby you can register for the certification course. You made the right decision. I must say, it's the right decision you made joining tonight. So